What up, everyone? DJ Anubis.
And DJ Neko.
With you on the Metal Tavern Radio YouTube channel. Thought we would take the opportunity while we're doing a new unboxing to announce that Metal Tavern Radio podcast is no longer a thing. Same with the internet radio. I know it brought some disappointment to a lot of people that happened, but the cost going into trying to keep all that running and the time committed really created a problem. So Neko and I are going to try a different avenue with what we're going to be doing. At first, it was kind of like we probably weren't going to do anything, but
we talked a lot today, and we're going to kind of revamp because he and I both are going to be working a lot more next year. Which means I probably will be gone like 8 months next year instead of 6 months. And it'll be very like intermittent when I'm home. So just him dealing with everything with the house and life in general by himself. Plus he's going to be taking extra shifts during the week. Plus I'll be gone. The podcast, when we do it, takes a lot of preparation. It's long every week because we only work on it. We work on it every day, but like we only record it once a week, but there's a whole week's worth of material in there, which means he has to listen to a week's worth of music and we have to find topics, and which is not bad. Like we like watching movies and we like talking about things, but the thing we really
got to fit them in.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing, like outside of regular life of things that go on with pets, whatever, family stuff. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to have the time to fit in movies and stuff. Like the last podcast that we had done this past week was done the day before, which is not normally something we do. We usually do it like the Saturday before or on Friday before. So when you start getting to a point where you have to kind of like push it just so you have something to talk about in the podcast, that can be a bit of a problem. So we just find that right now, it's just taking up too much time, and we're not really seeing any kind of financial gain out of it. Now, I've talked about it where it wasn't always about money for me because I have a passion for the scene and everything else, but you kind of hope that people will buy some merch or something to help kind of alleviate the cost. And I know that everybody has the money. I mean, no one's rich, really.
And that's part of our problem is like it was costing, all the hosting and everything was costing too much money. Which we did that on our own accord. Like we wanted to do it, but we also are coming to the point where, again, he and I are both going to be working a lot next year. We want to, we're planning on moving, in the next 2 years, we want to move out of this house. So we've got a goal, like we've got a 2-year goal that if we put a lot of work in the next 2 years, we'll be able to pay off some of our bills and then have money for a house, and then we have to sell this house. So there's a lot going to be going on just in our personal lives. But the nice thing about YouTube is it's kind of spontaneous. Like if we want to sit down and just talk about with each other, if we want to do how we would before, like we'd sit down and talk our thoughts on
yeah, and I think that's part of it too is her and I have been discussing a lot. We didn't come to the decision lightly, trust me. It was actually kind of heartbreaking that we had to make that decision. But the reality is I do find a lot of the people that I talk with on social media, the Movie Army Dojo for Samurai and Broncos
the Sci-Fi Society.
Poet.
Yeah.
I enjoy that communication and those discussions that we have about entertainment or whatever. So we're going to try to mix in a lot of that more with live shows like we did for the Godzilla thing, as well as just like
you did with Aaron and
interviews. We want to do more of that.
But we're also going to try and he's going to keep listening to music. He still gets lots of music from different labels. So what we want to do is provide little snippets for you. Instead of playing an entire podcast, you're going to get possibly like a short from us, either a reel or a short or something through YouTube where you can just see, okay, these are the top 5 albums that he's been listening to this week from, whatever.
And I'm going to try to do that. Like that's a little bit easier to manage. I can go through and say, okay, well, even if I listen to 20 bands, new records, there's, I could pick 5 that I thought were the best of that week. And so I will try to give that to you weekly so you can have an idea what's still out there. I might even throw in some discussions while I'm doing that with some runner-ups or whatever. But the reality is, keep it simple, fast, and then you're not going to get full songs like we did on the podcast, but you'll get recommendations where I'll be like, check these out, and then we'll go from there. But as far as like Poetic Carnage, the sports talk with Poet, we're still going to be doing that. I still want to do Lone Wolf with Dub if I ever get hooked up with Trejo Jr. again, to try to do that and get that started. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And of course, with the rest of like Samurai and Cult of Cinema, Sci-Fi Century, if you guys want our input or have us in on discussions for about things, just let us know so we can prepare for that, and we will. So we want to keep engaged with you all, and we just wanted to make sure that you all understood that this wasn't a decision that we took very lightly in regards to the actual podcast and the station itself. It just became a little bit more than we can handle. It was a little bit
too much, and we're trying to just like narrow our focus, but still keep it on music and entertainment. But
it's all gonna be like YouTube. Like even the website now, we're gonna keep, but we're gonna change it from the podcast to the videos, and we're gonna start adding some of the older videos in there.
Yeah, he was funny because he thought that the hosting because we pay for the hosting in November, and he thought the hosting was up. So I was like, the website is paid for another year. So let's just revamp the website. Let's narrow instead of like really, because we were concentrating really hard on the podcast, and we were concentrating really hard on, he was always updating the radio, and the radio was actually doing pretty well. But the problem is it's a personal radio. It's so everything is us. There are no commercials or anything. So
yeah, and people enjoyed that, and I apologize because there's probably a lot of people like, oh man, that sucked.
When he was getting all kinds of hits all over the world. But we're hoping that we can drive some people to this, and with permission from bands, we will also ask them and offer to, spotlight some of their music if they'll allow us to play it, because I know and I know YouTube's really weird, even if you do have, because we do have permission, the stuff that we use,
we still plan to do some band interviews too, so like it's just we're switching focus now to where it's not going to be as expensive to do what we're doing here than it is to do everything else. So we'll see.
And that's the idea, is we want to try and get the most impact, I think, because we always love the podcast. We did the podcast before we even started like meeting up with the people on YouTube, but the podcast was always our primary focus, and it turned out to be like our biggest time suck. And it had zero.
I think anybody, even if you're someone like Samurai Guy or other people that do YouTube stuff that like constantly, like from someone told me recently that even Samurai had to start working more, like that he hasn't been on as much. So he will be one of the first ones to tell you how time consuming it can be just to do what he does. So for us, it's the same thing. Like I have to sit here, not with you all, but here on the computer 4 days, 5 days out of the week, listening to music for hours at a time to find the songs to play. And that's not including all the labels and promotion sites that I was working with, which much appreciation of them for sending me in stuff to do that with, but just so much music and I can't get it all in it. That's why I was starting throwing in like actual promotional site spotlight shows. Like there was so much out there. This is going to scale it back a lot. You're not going to be getting 20 or 30 bands. So when I do my top 5 of the week, it's just who I feel people should be paying attention to in the rock and metal world. So, it's really that simple. Hope you all will be sticking around with us on this. I will definitely try to do some more live shows, even with Neko here, with some of you all. We'll just have to find whatever it is we want to talk about. But it's a little bit of a change of direction, but I think it's going to be better overall for us to go in this way, because everything now is more video oriented, a little bit more personal, when I can talk with you all, with these other YouTube personalities, and discuss music and entertainment. So we're going to go that direction. So hopefully you'll stand by. Yeah. So let's get into our Metalhead unboxing for this month of October.
Yeah, we had 2 deliveries on the front porch. One was a Christmas wreath, and the other was the MetalheadBox.
So as usual, I got a new shirt, and it's from the band Profanica, and I do like them a little bit, but I can't really name a lot of albums from them off the top of my head.
It's a good shirt though. It's a Gildan or whatever. Like it's not like a generic
Oh,
shirt.
well, I'm wearing their Full from Hell shirt they sent me a while back. It's great material.
Yeah,
yeah.
This one is too.
Well.
This one is too a Gildan. Like they're not sending like the shirt that you wash and falls apart in like 30 seconds.
Yeah. So we got another DVD this time, which is really cool. And actually, I'll be watching this at some point.
It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's Louder Than Hell, Whackin' the Movie. And some of the bands on here, Alice Cooper, Anthrax, Anvil, Annihilator, Deep Purple, Henry Rollins, Lamb of God, Motorhead, Rammstein, and Trivium. So, yeah.
I'm hoping. I mean, I'm hoping it's a concert, but I'm hoping that it's like interviews behind the scenes. Like we've never been, but we have friends who have been. Several friends who have been. So I hear about it, and some parts of me are like, I kind of want to do it, but then other parts I'm like, yeah, I really have I don't know if I want to camp out, and it's in the summer and it's hot, and
yeah. So I got this pin, and I'm still not sure what the fuck it is.
Let me. I didn't have my glasses on before. Let me look at it now.
And I don't know if it's supposed to be a chainsaw.
Let me see. It says something on it under the. Let me get in the light.
Sorry, we're not
prepared for this. Heavy metal, and it says IBU 22. It's a chain. Is it a chainsaw? What does it say right here? I can't read it. Oh my god, we're so old.
Well, I mean, you make the print about the size of my penis, which is very small. Yeah. See, I think it's a mic or a chainsaw or. I don't know, but you all can try to figure this fucking shit out. I can't. Maybe Thralls of Metal or Crypt, they probably got similar stuff like this in, so you guys can learn from them exactly what this is. I really no fucking clue.
I feel like I need to take a picture of it with my camera and then.
But I still haven't even added all these to some of my jackets yet. Because
we have a box of like patches and pins that need to be added. Yeah.
And then we've got CD sampler from Demore Morty Productions. I don't even know if I pronounced the first part right, but it's a label sampler. Very cool stuff. And they have Blood Off Snort on there. Their new record is one of my favorites of the year.
Oh, really?
Aka, Pure Wrath is a very cool band. Kalich Calling, I guess. Power from Hell.
Yeah.
The Lovecraft Sextet, Pestilent Hex, White Ward, Hexus, and Archgo. Archgo is very recent. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I'll be checking some of that out. Then as you all know, I get the cassette box. And so first up is Morbific, Squirm Beyond the Mortal Realm. And I really dig this band. So very cool.
You got quite the cassette collection happening.
I know, I'm starting to run out of room again.
Yeah, well.
Then we got Hemorrhage with Anatomical Inferno. So yeah. Kind of cool. Yeah.
I love that tapes are coming back.
Oh, I love it. I still have, in fact, it's not out yet, but the new Obituary I've got on cassette coming too. So that's.
Oh, you pre-ordered?
Yeah. So.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. So yeah, lots to look forward to with the Metal Tavern site, and we do apologize for having to drop everything, but we had a pretty good run for 2 or 3 years with it. So
it's longer than that.
Well, I go back to 2012, but it wasn't even really the full-fledged thing that we've been doing the last 3 years. But like I said, we got a lot of good things planned going forward with more with the YouTube stuff. So we're still going to be talking and interviewing people when we get a chance. I want to get with Joe Valley from, Media Glitch. We need to interview him yet. There's still some others that we want to do. So we're going to be working that out. And hopefully, December 14th, I think we're going to be doing something with Jax B Ripper on her channel for the best of 2022.
Oh, fun.
And maybe if I can at some point, I don't know if Nick will be here, I'll try to hook up with Crypt on something like that too. I know that Crypt and I were talking about another show that we were going to do regarding adult film actresses, but I don't know if that's ever come to light yet. But we have all sorts of things going on, and we're going to try to make sure we make it interesting and get the content out to you just like we're doing today. So thank you for your patience. We love you all. The support you have all been giving us, and we are not resentful for anything that did or didn't happen with the other stuff, but we still want to bring you all the good music that we like doing for you, and we love the scene. So thank you all. Keep it metal, and cheers, and have a great weekend.